How's your day? It's time to play. Little ball, chaos, heaven on my mind. Oxygen, breathing, gravity pulling us down. 12 seconds to midnight. Levitate, levitate, up, 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 levitate. No gravity, we're getting higher. Levitate, gotta get away. Levitate, time to breathe. Levitate, no gravity, we're getting higher. Drift away, escape, liberty, born again, from the womb through the earth to the sky. This is me, this is you, this is us. We are unique. We love. Levitate, levitate, up, 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 levitate. No gravity, we're getting higher. Levitate, gotta get away. Levitate, time to breathe. Levitate, no gravity, we're getting higher. Hold me down. We love. 12 seconds to midnight. Levitate, levitate, up, 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 levitate. No gravity, we're getting higher. Levitate, gotta get away. Levitate, time to breathe. Levitate, no gravity, we're getting higher. Don't wanna come down. No gravity, we're getting higher. Gotta get away. Time to breathe. No gravity, we're getting higher. Levitate. Hello and welcome to Toyah at Home. It's been a pretty glorious week. Last week the band played Eastbourne Congress Theatre. Absolutely beautiful venue, and we played Levitate for the first time. And I have to say, everybody, it really rocked. It's so good, and it's made me so excited for all the other new Posh Pop songs to enter the Toyah repertoire at the festivals and at all of our concerts this year and next year. It's a very exciting time. And still, I want to say thank you to all of you for being such wonderfully supportive Toyah people. I don't want to call you fans because I think you're more than that. We've been through so much together in the last 17 months. We are now Toyah people. Our first song today is a lockdown version of Good Morning Universe with the Toyah Band. I hope you enjoy it, and let's celebrate in the coming weeks being out of lockdown. This is Good Morning Universe.
Universe, a lockdown version with the Toyah Band to say goodbye lockdown, hello concerts and life in the outside world. I will still be sanitizing my hands. I will still be wearing a face mask. I don't deal well with colds, yet alone having COVID. I'm a singer. My vocal cords and my lungs are my career. So I'm just going to be very, very careful because the virus is still out there and we don't know how it's going to mutate and affect us. But obviously I just can't wait to be singing to you all, and I'm going to make sure that I do not even get a cold in the next year because I just don't want to have to cancel anything. So for me, all of the safety precautions that have been in place for the last 15 months are going to still be in my life, especially backstage. I've decided to keep all my merchandise this year online because we just cannot, I feel, just yet have this kind of interaction of up close and people handling everything at a desk. If this changes, I will let you know, but I want you to be safe and I want me to be safe. I want your relatives to be safe. And I think for that, we still need to be a little bit aware. So thank you for your questions this week. And Fiona, you asked Fiona Andrew a fabulous question that I've given a lot of thought to, and it's not going to be a short answer. Fiona, you say in your younger incarnation, your costumes were androgynous. Was this because you were not confident of yourself as a sensual woman? Yes, and I'll explain in a minute. Or was it due to the prevailing attitudes of punk, which challenged the status quo of women's sexuality? Actually, no, I felt with punk, anything goes. You put in brackets, I love that you so confidently embrace your presence as a beautiful and sexy woman now. Well, that confidence is because I'm 63. I'm not going to lie about my age. I'm not going to lie about how I keep looking like this. It's mainly I eat clean, I eat fresh. For the last month, I have been eating pizzas and bread and I have had no energy whatsoever, and I found I was becoming puffy. And that proved to me that I really need to be eating fresh fruit and vegetables, drinking 5 litres of water a day, cooking fresh, so I only buy fresh, I don't stock buy, and going to the gym and being active keeps you kind of trim. And you know, that's important to me. I want to get into my stage costumes. But in answer to your question, Fiona, I have to go back to my school days. And I remember at the age of 11, I entered puberty and I didn't know what was going on with my body. No one had told me. I was so afraid I couldn't even tell my mother. And only my sister knew. And my sister, who's 8 years older than me, got me through this. And eventually my sister told my mother I'd entered puberty because I was so frightened of my mother's response. Then at school, we had our first sex education lesson where I discovered I'm physically different to my brother and to my father. And I discovered that the reason for this was I was going to get pregnant and give birth. If you've seen the film Alien, where the alien bursts out of John Hurt's belly, I was as frightened and confused as that moment for a good 2 years after my sex education lesson. I actually felt betrayed by nature. I really did feel betrayed because I thought that I was a woman for a completely different reason. That I was, how can I bring this? How can I say this? That my relationship with Mother Nature was not about giving birth. It was actually something to do with earth magic. And I really felt this at the age of 11. I felt that it was part of how I was going to resonate with the planet. Now, of course, it's ridiculous to think that without the biological process of giving birth. But I never came to terms with that. I remained birth phobic till now. I mean, I really could not face that inevitability. And it's something I talk to my girlfriends about a lot, being birth phobic. And most of my girlfriends were driven by the biological urge to give birth. I was completely the opposite. I was terrified. And I think this led to who and what Toyah the rock artist became. Now then, because I entered puberty so early, I had full-size breasts by the time I was 12, and I was in school uniform. So imagine the effect that had on men when I was outside of school going home. I grew up in Birmingham in the late 60s, early 70s. I was being followed home from school by men. I was being approached at the bus stop by men. It was very, very nice, but it terrified me because I might get pregnant. And then there was this thing in the early 70s that if, as a woman, you didn't give out sexually, you were called a whore and a dog. And if you did give out sexually, you were called a whore and a dog. I mean, it was coming from all angles. It was quite sexually aggressive.
And I think by the time I had the autonomy, once I left home and I had autonomy over what I wore, I just wanted to go back to being a person, not a gender. And I wanted people to see the person. And then when I moved to London, there was the late night auditions, which didn't click with me for quite a while. So as an actress, I was being called to auditions in male directors' homes, male directors' hotel rooms. And I realised that these auditions were expected to lead to something else. And this, you could feel the wall going up, the barriers going up. I didn't fully understand how I felt because I was very attracted to men. I love men. And I just only believed that the decision I took for androgynous dressing was literally for me to grow into this body, to experience this body on my terms, and to be confident on my terms. Now I am a 63-year-old woman and I really enjoy being in this body to a certain extent. And I feel I have a right to say age doesn't matter. Health matters above everything. And I also believe that sexual preferences, sexual orientation is almost a private matter. We must see the person first. We must see the glorious personality of every human being and of that person and what they're saying first. And choices of sexuality, sexual orientation are really a very private matter where we should protect our friends on that journey, protect our colleagues on that journey, and protect life on that journey. And I like to think that we're moving into a new age, and that age is that we are no longer a planet, we are a universe, therefore we are a universal culture and a universal race of human beings. So let's stop picking on people for being different or wanting to change or wanting to be their natural selves. You also say, Fiona, was it the punk ethos that made me become third gender? No, because I think within punk, women stopped being called whores and tarts and you know, all of that for not giving out, for being called dogs. That kind of stopped. But what did happen within the punk movement, and you can see this in all of the pictures of me in the late 1970s and the films in the late 1970s, I'm singing with men's hands up my crutch. No one did anything about it. And that was even dressing, you know, kind of third gender, being non-gender specific. You were still being groped. What I did find was I had to hold my own and not react to that, which is exactly how I behaved on my own, on a street, 1 a.m, when I was approached by a predatory male. Was you couldn't show fear. You stood your ground and you said to those men, whatever you do to me, you are not affecting me or my life or my body. And I think that is part of that history. So these politics are still fluid, they're still moving, they're still growing, but I would say with great passion to people, you have a right to choose your gender, to choose your sexuality, to choose your sexual preferences within a relationship. You have a right to be you. And I think that is growing and changing. So Fiona, thank you very much for that question. I mentioned at the top of the show that the Toyah band had managed to play Eastbourne Congress Theatre while still in semi-lockdown. And I wanted to show you how that show was set up, because I think we might have to go back to that later in the year. It's a bit of a prediction. I hope we don't have to go back to it. But the theatre was so utterly brilliant. The maintenance staff were incredible. The ushers were incredible. So this is my little diary home from last week's gig at Eastbourne Congress Theatre. Hello from Eastbourne, everyone. This is dressing room 1 in the Congress Theatre in Eastbourne. I have not been in this dressing room since 2000.
2002, I believe, when I was starring in Calamity Jane. So it's really nice to be back in this amazing theatre. It's absolutely huge. And this is only my second live show of the day, of the year since COVID. So this is the stage. It's absolutely enormous, and that is the venue. I believe it seats 1,600, but just take a look at the COVID spacing. This is COVID safety. So all those X's are where people cannot sit. So it's going to be very interesting. My feeling is it's an absolute honour to be here. Firstly, it's lovely to be back where I had so much fun doing Calamity Jane, but also to be playing live music in this fantastic auditorium in Eastbourne on this absolutely beautiful day. Now, in the background is our wonderful sound man, Nick. You can see this tiny little speck in the background. He's got us a brilliant sound today, and we're on stage within the hour, but I just wanted to show you all that. And we can't wait. And we're playing Levitate for the first time tonight. Yay! So that was the setup at the Eastbourne Congress Theatre. Now, in 2 weeks' time, I am going on to a P&O ship to do 12 concerts with Chris Wong. And then when we come off the ship, we're playing the Worthing Factory, which has been booked for almost 2 years, and it's sold out. And I think by then, it's going to be announced that we are completely out of lockdown. So it's going to be a very interesting psychological event for me and the band, because we've not been in this situation for so long. So I'm kind of wondering how I'm going to be on that stage. I don't know the venue. I want the show to rock. I want everyone who comes to see a Toyah show to have the best time of their lives and to just try and forget what they've been through in the past 15 months. It's going to be very, very interesting. Dawn Volans, thank you so much for this question. This is really a trip down memory lane to 2002, which to me feels like yesterday. Well, it's actually almost 20 years ago. Dawn, you asked, Calamity Jane had some serious acrobatic moves. For me, did you train with a gymnast or circus performer for the role? And how long before hitting the road did we rehearse for the tour? It was a very impressive performance. Dawn, thank you so much. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was an interesting time for me because I was 41 or 42, and I knew I always wanted to do this show as an incredibly physical, tomboyish show. I think the original casting was going to be Baby Spice, Emma Bunton, but she didn't, she wasn't available. Let's say she wasn't available. This is a really physical show, and it suited my physicality. What I find really interesting is by this time I already needed a hip replacement, and I warned the producers, Tristan Baker. I said, look, I do need this surgery, but let's see what happens in rehearsal, and if I can't do the acrobatics, then we will alter the show that everyone, all these brilliant chorus dancers would move around me. So what happened was, we got into rehearsals, and this is the most extraordinary thing, and I'm telling you this story because the rehearsals were so energetic. They adjusted my body. They made my muscles so strong that I no longer needed that surgery for another 10 years. It completely built all the muscle structure around this joint, and I was able to hang on for another 10 years. And I'm telling you this, if you're resisting going to the gym because you're in pain, the gym can change your life. Training and having a physio can change your life. So anyway, I diverse. So we get into rehearsals, and our choreographer was Craig Revel-Horwood, who you now know from Strictly Dancing, Strictly Ballroom. And it was pretty obvious I was not going to be impressive with the choreography because I'm so small. So I said to Craig,
do whatever you want. Let these wonderful, wonderful dancing boys, and they were so tall, they were all 6 foot, they were really strong. I said, let them do whatever they want with me. They can throw me, they can lift me. I will stand on their hands. I will do anything to create this character of Calamity Jane as fearless. And this goes against the grain, because really Calamity Jane should have been a hard-working woman who just didn't bath and was in grubby clothes, and that's why men were repelled by her. And then in Act 2, people see the beauty and the femininity of her. Well, I reversed this completely. I wanted my Calamity Jane to go back to the truth of that time, where everyone in the kind of Wild West sold their bodies for sex, and they did nightly. They sold and bartered their bodies for food and for alcohol. It was, you know, verbatim, everyone did it. So we wanted to go back and kind of catch that within the beginning sequences of Calamity Jane. And then I wanted it to be known that if this woman walked into a bar, she was capable of hitting people and shooting people, which everyone did back then. And then her journey into femininity was because she fell in love and she realized what love was. So in rehearsals, I went into the first day of rehearsal, I could recite that script backwards, because I knew we only had a month and I had to just hit the ground running with the whole team. And I remember when we did the read through, I was standing and I was just saying everything while everyone else was reading through, and that kind of upped the bar a bit. And then my commitment to being thrown around really upped the bar. So within the first rehearsal, Craig had the boys lifting me, I was standing on their hands, throwing me, and we were seeing what my body could take. And literally within a week, all of my body pain went, because I was building muscle, I was moving, I was stretching, and it was probably one of the best things that could have happened to me at that time. And did I study with a circus trainer? No, I didn't have to. The boys who were in the Calamity Jane chorus were so well trained. They were beautiful dancers. They were incredibly experienced, and we just took it to another level, and I loved it. And funny enough, within the provinces, and we were touring for a year, every single show sold out. For that, you know, that's 350 shows sold out. And we won awards. I think Manchester voted it one of the best musicals of the year. It was a very interesting time. And I have to say, looking back, I'm really proud of the fact that I played this woman as a tough, real woman who would have had to have been a survivor at that time in history. And I didn't play the romanticism until the very last song. And then I sang that in true kind of Doris Day tradition, as kind of, oh my God, what's happened to me and my body and my heart is being taken over by love. I'm very proud of that performance. So thank you, Dawn, for that question. If you can hear talking in the background, that is Robert and Sydney Jake have just started their lesson together, and they're like, they chat all the time. They do a bit of guitar playing. Edward Schutz, you have sent a lovely question, and it's a lovely memory for me. At the last gig you saw of mine in Glasgow, which was a triumph and no one wanted to leave, you say, Edward. I remember it was utterly bonkers. It was one of those screaming mad gigs which you could only have in Glasgow. You say, I told a story about I Want to Be Free stemming from letters you received from girls getting crap for how they dressed, wore their hair and their attitude. Is there a song on Posh Pop speaking to those girls, now women, speaking to them as now, and what message would you give them? Well, I think the song, Edward, at the gig in Glasgow, it's always Be Proud, Be Loud, Be Heard, which I wrote because I was getting about 10,000 letters a week
from young girls saying that their mother hated me, they were being told off for dyeing their hair, they were doing everything they could to get pink hair, they were using Domestos bleach. I mean, they were really doing quite crazy things. And I Want to Be Free was kind of written about my frustration at being at school, knowing I was wasting all these years when I should have been in stage school, and I didn't like being told to be everything other than who I naturally was. So you ask about the messages on Posh Pop, and are there messages for those women now? Posh Pop is literally pop music, beautiful pop music, great catches, credible lyrics, incredible guitar playing that will, we hope, elevate the audience out of the memory of lockdown. They'll put it on, they will dance around the rooms, they'll dance at parties and enjoy it. But there are quite a lot of meanings in all of the song. And in answer to your question, Edward, yes, there are messages. There's a song called Rhythm in My House, which is the last song we wrote. I had a lot of influence on it because of Toyah and Robert Sunday lunches and how our house became so familiar to people. And the line in the chorus that Simon, Darlow and I came up with is just never too late. It's never too late to be who you feel you should be. Age is irrelevant. So it says, welcome into my house, no silence here. There's a book on the shelf. The amazing thing is the pages are empty. So what we're saying is that you are still writing your life. And then in the chorus, the catchphrase is, it is never too late. So that is a message for people now, whatever age you are, that we are always in development. We're always developing who and what we want to be. It doesn't stop. And I think only kind of social economics do we have retirement years and all of that, and this feeling that, you know, at 60 your life stops. It doesn't. It doesn't. Life is what you want it to be. It's what you plan it to be. And that message is in Rhythm in My House. Also, The Bride Will Return is about how every woman deserves this very special day. And also, no woman should be judged by whether they decide to be married or not, that the marriage is something in here, it's in the heart. And I just felt it was so sad in the last 15 months that the beauty of a whole family, generations getting together to celebrate the union of a couple, no matter what sex those couple are, just couldn't happen because of COVID. So The Bride Will Return is about celebrating the bride. Kill the Rage is about the duality within all of us. I believe we all have feminine, masculine duality, and it's about that polarization. So my message, I suppose, should be no woman should ever be judged for their age, their physicality, their choices in life, the clothes that they wear, their body shape. That is all hidden within the songs, but so is our rage at being told that recycling is being managed responsibly, when I think really for the last 20 years we've been selling our plastics on to poorer countries and it's not been dealt with properly. All of that comes in. Summer of Love is about women being accepted onto the battlefield. For Simon Darlow, it's very much about Summer of Love, and hippies, for me, it's about the changing role of women on the battlefield. Now, the film To Be Someone is in selected cinemas the 9th of July. Yesterday, I believe, for a month, and then it goes to DVD. It's very, very funny, directed by Ray Burdiss. I'm in it, Leslie Ash is in it, Mark Wingate plays my husband in it, Gary Shale is in it, Trevor Laird is in it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous cast. It's a gangster movie, very, very funny. We loved shooting it. So we're going to play you the trailer now.
Get your dad, please, girls.
Dad, Albert wants you.
Tell him to turn it down a bit.
He wants you to turn it down a bit.
You tell him.
Daddy said bollocks.
You haven't been ready for the past 2 hours.
I've got to look good in my own club, no?
Bring that mug Danny in. I want a word.
Ginger nicks out.
Somewhere out there, floating around, is 5 million buzz bombs unaccounted for.
What's that got to do with me?
We were making a fortune until Mike got involved. Now he's a partner.
Not mad, Mike.
That club is mine. You get me my pills, and I'll sign the club over.
I ain't getting involved with drugs, Mike.
Oh, yes, you are.
Now I've got to go down to the Isle of Wight and pick up his drugs, or he takes the club.
If you do that job for Mike, you could go down for a long time.
He's got me cornered, hasn't he? I can't be putting my family at risk.
Pick up the stash, deliver it to him, and grass a lot of them.
I think we need to stitch him up to the old bill.
August bank holiday is the Isle of Wight scooter rally.
To get those pills off the island, we're using scooters.
What scooters?
Will be impossible to pick out.
But we don't even look like mods. I mean, look at Ken. I mean, he looks like a pillock.
Your brother's well and truly stitched me up.
I am lucky to be alive.
Yes, Adrian. The bloody cool.
Why are you talking with that Jamaican accent?
It's my persona, innit?
That was the trailer for To Be Someone that's in selected cinemas for the next 4 weeks. I hope you get to see it, but it does go to DVD after that. And hopefully it might be on Amazon Prime or it might be on Netflix. Who knows? But it's really worth seeing. It's very, very funny, brilliantly acted, brilliantly made. So I've been in the studio where we made Posh Pop this week with Simon and his trusty acoustic guitar. And to go out today, we are going to play out on an acoustic version, Simon Darlow on guitar, me on vocals, of Levitate. But firstly, I asked Simon about his experience of making the album. Hello, I'm in the studio with Simon Darlow.
Hello, everybody. How nice to see you.
This is the magnificent studio. It belongs to Simon that we made Posh Pop in, and it's a home from home. So how would you say the experience has been for you in this exceptional year?
Well, quite magical, actually, because we had the time to be stuck in and nowhere else to go. It enabled us to focus. And Toyah and I, as some of you may know, have worked together for many, 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 many years. And it's always a thrill. We just walk in a room and something happens, and this was no different. When we started with Levitate, it was almost instant. It was like, here we go. Because we went into when we started the album, we had nothing, zero, nada. And then suddenly we had all these bits and pieces, and every time we met, another spark would fly. So it's been magical for me.
The process starts, you pick a guitar up, and you start jamming.
Yeah.
And sometimes before I came in, I'd send you a lyric sheet that triggered ideas. But the moment always happened when we threw all that away and just got on with it and started jamming. And then suddenly, whoa, there it is.
Incredible. It's happened like that for us always, and it's still there after quite a few years. So I'm very excited by it, actually. We enjoyed every moment of it. And to have another guitarist too to come in and add to it was rather wonderful.
Bobby Wilcox's presence in the room was really delightful.
It was. He was just a gem to work with, and we had a lovely time. And it added a magic and a dimension that we've not had before. So it was really fabulous, and we're ever so grateful.
And he loved it because we wanted him to put on his pop head, not prog rock, not jazz, his pop head. And he did.
No, I think he's just a secret popper, actually, underneath it all, despite, all the brilliant articulations and stuff. Pop musician at heart.
So I think the chemistry between me, and I'm very used to performing live, so I know what the audience feels like. I know how an audience evolves through a song, and you may think that sounds crazy. A song is a song. No, you change the room. So I've experienced that for many years, and so has my husband Robert, and you have to a certain extent.
Less than you.
But bringing the three of us into the room with all of our complexities and our experience with live music and live work, as well as the written work, just made something else happen.
Yep, totally special. And I think, the lockdown effect had something to do with it. We had to start off using masks and being disparate, all that stuff that you had to do. But once we'd all got double vaxxed, we were off, and it was just magical.
Yeah, really good. And we're going to play Levitate for you now, which we adore. And I believe when we started Levitate, it was called Gravity.
It was. It got very confusing.
It got
actually.
very confusing because I kept saying, let's put gravity up, let's put gravity up.
Especially with one thing is going up and the other one's going down.
Yeah.
It was very hard to work on it. I got very confused.
But it was fun. So this is our stripped down acoustic version of Levitate. How's your day? It's time to play. Little ball. Chaos. Heaven. On my mind. Oxygen. Breathing.